just write this down. All right, let's say you've got 1 1/3 divided by 2 1/2. Same thing applies for these total pages as it does for the other things. Before you do anything, when you divide mixed numbers, you must, once you put a big old capital M-U-S-T, you must make improper. Okay, you have to. You have to. Would it help if I did little bubbles around it? When you multiply and divide fractions, especially mixed numbers, you have to make them improper. If you don't make them improper, you will rarely ever get the right answer. Once you make it, once you get past that, it's the same as any fraction. So 1 1/3 is what as an improper fraction? 4 1/3, right? And 2 1/2 is what? Somebody? Sure, 5 halves. I'm going to assume that you know how to do this. If you don't know where those numbers are coming from, raise your hand. But we've done this many times, so I'm not going to spend your time there. Now that it is a fraction, how do you divide by fractions? We've already done that, Alex Mulmer.
In the second number, you flip it first.
Exactly. Then your next step is to flip the second fraction and multiply. Okay? Which means the second fraction gets flipped over. You end up with 4 1/3 times 2 5ths. And you can just multiply across. 8 15ths is your answer. Now many of you will want to do these two steps all in one big fatal swoop. I recommend not doing that because you might get it right about 80% of the times, but start doing too many things all at once, you're going to get it wrong probably a bunch of times. In other words, some of you are going to want to go right from this to this, and I'm going to say it's not a good idea. And when you come ask me what you did wrong, I will probably make fun of you or something like that because I've already told you not to do that. Go from here to here to here. Don't skip all the stuff and go somewhere else there. How about this one? What about 6 1/2 divided by 3? 6 1/2 divided by 3, what do we have to make it? What do those things become? Gabby, 6 1/2 changes to? Not quite. Remember, you multiply by this, 6 times 2 is 12, but then you have to add the top to it. It's 13 halves. And what does the number 3 become as a fraction? 3 over 1. Okay, now what do we have to do? Flip and multiply. 13 halves times 1/3. Which will give you 13 over 6, and unfortunately that's an improper fraction, which needs to be changed to 2 1/6. Now also look at me and listen, okay? Usually when we start doing this, people start flipping the fractions all the time, even when it's multiplication.
Yeah.
No, how many of you have done that already? You don't. If it's multiplication to start with, you don't flip anything. Only at the beginning of the problem when you see a division sign are you going to end up flipping. If it starts out being multiplication, there's no flipping involved. Only with division. Be careful. Yeah, that's exactly it there. How about just one more? 7 divided by 1 3/4. I'll let you do this one. 7 divided by 1 3/4. Give you a shot at that one. Remembering again, it's always the second fraction that gets flipped and multiplied. Hopefully, as your first step, you made 7 a fraction by putting it over 1. It's still division. This has an improper fraction is 7 over 4. Then, and only then, should you flip and multiply by the second fraction, 7 over 1 times 4 over 7. If you multiply across here, you end up with 28 over 7, which equals 4. Did y'all get 4?
Yeah.
If you didn't get 4, this is the time to figure out why and ask. Anybody got a question as to why they didn't get 4? Sam, is your hand up or are you just flailing uncontrollably?